All right, we will go ahead and get started, and I will say welcome to the July version of Staying Mission Driven. Welcome again, everybody. Extension is for all of you, so we're glad that you're here and could join us today. As a program in Extension within WSU Connors, we serve the 4 pillars of creating an adaptable workforce, providing a secure food system, helping to maintain sustainable natural resources, and supporting thriving, healthy communities, families, and individuals. As you know, WSU Extension is the front door to the university. It extends non-credit education to people throughout the state and empowers people, organizations, businesses, and communities to find solutions to their local issues. Extension is recognized for its science-based educational programs and collaborations with community partners to create a culture of lifelong learning. Our program specifically engages university-trained volunteers to empower and sustain diverse communities with relevant, unbiased, research-based horticulture and environmental stewardship education to address 9 important issues facing Washington residents. Let's see, over the last few give pull, or not give pulls, that's funny, I said give pulls. Over the last few Staying Mission Driven sessions, I've been trying my best to keep you updated on the various budgets, and with new university leadership, new Connors leadership, and with our federal administration, certainly is an interesting time at WSU. So now, rather than relying on me to provide you updates, the WSU launched a new website called newchapter.wsu.edu, and it's intended to keep all of us informed. It offers background for strategic direction that WSU is taking in the face of these interesting times, provides immediate next steps for implementation, what WSU is doing, information on streamlining administrative structures to support our mission. It offers information about their focus on people, specifically faculty and staff as the driving force behind institutional success, with modest salary increases and purposeful opportunities for growth. Also, I not included, but I want to say that, WSU volunteers are also a driving force behind institutional success. And I know that WSU knows that and is aware of it and appreciates it. And then also it provides information on strategic investments that align resources for long-term sustainability. So this website is updated fairly regularly. I encourage you, if you're interested, to bookmark it, and you can follow along and see what's happening at WSU. I would like to get straight into our quality resources update and give you some information on Green School. Registration is ready to launch.
Hello.
Waiting for the August 15th date to arrive. Instructions are being finalized. They've been tested. Feedback was incorporated. And then now the instructions are being finalized and will be available to county coordinators by at the latest August 8th. My guess is before that. So what's going to happen is in the on the Green School website, which is what you're seeing on your screen, there will right next to the Washington Green School FAQs, there'll be a registration navigation that you can click to see, and it will take you to this screen that says the gates to Green School swing open on August 15th. There will be a link to register right here in this red circle. All Washington Gardner certificate track learners will register directly through this link. They won't need additional information. It will just take them directly to registration and paying the full $550. For trainees, interns, current WSU Extension Master Gardener volunteers, and trainees, interns who are receiving a scholarship or a fee waiver. All of you and those new trainees will receive instructions about how to register, and those instructions will include voucher or discount codes. So if you want to register for Green School and as a current WSU Extension Master Gardener volunteer, you can do so for $125 with a discount code, and you can get that discount code from your program coordinator sometime, next week. But you won't be able to register until the 15th of August. I'm going to look at the chat before I...
Jennifer?
Oh my gosh, thanks, Deborah. Uh-huh.
I have a question, clarification, please. So what is the scholarship? That's the first I've heard of anything about a scholarship. What is that?
For Extension Master Gardener track learners, they can apply through the local county for a fee waiver. We're calling it a scholarship because that's just the terminology that most people resonate with. But it's a fee waiver because we're not backfilling, right? There's no money being given from WSU or asked from foundations to pay for the learners. It is for Extension Master Gardener trainees only, and it reduces the $275 down to $125. But applicant has to apply through their local program. And Jason asked me these same questions yesterday.
Okay. And so that is something we need to set up on our side through the foundation?
No, just through Jason. It's through the program, and it's something that we've been talking about in program coordinator meetings for a number of months. So Jason should have information that he needs to. Every county kind of does it a little bit differently, Jeanette. And that's one of the things that it's always been done differently because of, every county did it differently, trained differently. And feedback for this year was like, we're going to leave it that way for this year. And then moving into next year, we'll have we'll look at the processes that the various counties are using and streamline and align those processes.
So Jennifer, is there a criteria that people have to meet to qualify for this?
No, it's up to the county. If somebody requests it, they, it's important to respect that and potentially provide that.
And so again, where do these funds come from?
It's a fee waiver, Jeanette, so there's no funds, right?
Okay.
It'll reduce it to 125 and the learner will have to pay for that. If you'd rather not have the learner pay for that, then the foundation could pay for it if they wanted to.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Jennifer?
I was just going to say, are there counties here that want to speak to whether or not they would be, how are they handling it? If you know how you're handling it?
I can, Jennifer.
Kyle, oh no, that's Matt. Go ahead, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, the foundation has an educational grant committee that provides grants to master gardeners to do these kinds of things. So for example, if somebody in one of the master gardeners wanted to go to green school, they'd apply for an educational grant. And we have a policy on it that has a criteria. It then goes to our coordinator, Tim Koloff, who says, yeah, it's good for continuing education, then goes to our committee for approval. So we do that for the AEC, and we do that for other classes that they may want to take that's fee-based.
Thanks, Matt. Do you have a process policy for new Extension Master Gardener volunteers who are applying?
Yes, they're included in that. In fact, we've already been doing it in the last few years or so. Not very many of the trainees or interns take advantage of it, but it's available to them.
Okay. Appreciate it, Matt.
Yeah.
Jennifer, Yakima Foundation voted to have 12 scholarships available for this year. So they will cover the funds, the portion that the program would normally receive, and put it into the program account for me. Well, for the program,
Right.
not for me personally.
So Patty, so are you, and this is for new interns, new trainees,
Yes.
and are you expecting the new trainee to pay the 125?
Yes.
And then the foundation is going to pick up the difference between the 125 and the 275?
Yes.
Okay. That's generous. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Jennifer,
Uh-huh.
that last example, that's something that particular foundation has decided to do to give
Yes.
back to the program.
Yes.
But I'm looking at the scholarship, quote unquote, merely as a discount coupon.
Yes, it is.
And I get coupons in the mail all the time, and it costs nothing to
Right.
receive them or use them.
Right.
So yes, to that, I've missed the county, but thank you, county, for being so generous.
Yeah. It's Yakima. Go ahead, Diana.
Well, we found this year, we've used to charge $400 because training cost us that. And so I don't think we're going to be able to give scholarships here because we're going to have to pick up the difference with a new fee because we have to pay to use the rooms where we do training. We don't have anything, and that really adds up. So
Mhm.
I don't think we'll be able to give scholarships because we're going to have, because of that.
Right.
But in Skagit, we used to also refund $100 of the total fee for those that completed and became certified. So it was really an out-of-pocket cost to them of $300,
Uh-huh.
not $400, if they completed it. If they
Right.
don't complete it, if they did not complete it, then they forfeited the $100 refund.
So then the overall difference is $25.
Exactly.
Okay. And I'm hopeful, and only time will tell, but that the green school registrants, right, the Washington Gardener certificate learner only registrants that are paying the $550, they will make up the difference in fees or potentially increase the revenue that goes to the counties and to the state program. Okay. So now I want to I do have the list of the speakers. It's not published yet. And I wasn't intending on publishing it. Couple reasons. Things change. Things change. But let me talk with our team and figure out how we want to manage that. But I do have the list.
So a question on that, for those of us that run the training programs in our own counties, it'd just be helpful to know who those people are if we have follow-up
Right.
questions when we're doing hands-on. So I'm not looking for total public distribution, but certainly just a resource that the training teams can use in coordination with our program coordinator to make sure we have continuity.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Happy to share that with coordinators.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So now I want to turn it over to Bryce Battisti, who is he's our educational developer, the one that's been building the curriculum, led the backwards design process of the new curriculum, and is building it into our new LMS Moodle. So he is going to give you a sneak peek into what the new curriculum looks like. Bryce.
Hey, good morning. I'm excited to show you what I've been working on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm going to turn off my video just in case that makes things go more smoothly here. Okay, so we chose to use a different system than has been used for the last 15 years. So for the last 15 years, we've taught the online portion of the Master Gardener curriculum statewide, this learning management system. And now we're using Moodle. So I'm building everything out in something called Moodle. It's a worldwide learning management system that people use to teach classes all over the world. This one is hosted through the Extension Foundation, which is a national organization. And it looks a lot different, and it works differently. And we've set it up in ways that we think are just a lot better. And one of the great things is that we can maintain it, and we can make the changes, and we can make the updates, and we can take people's feedback and just make it better all the time, instead of having to rely on an outside group to do that for us. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the homepage. So Jennifer talked about people registering. Once they register, they will immediately be put in here, even before the course starts. They'll be put right in here, and they'll be able to scroll down through all of this and see all of the topics and the schedule. You know, they'll be able to see what is happening each week, what those dates are, and scroll right through it. But you'll notice that most of these things have a little yellow bar on them that says hidden from students. So they won't actually be able to access the course till the course begins. But right away, what they'll do is they'll choose which group that they're in. So they'll select this button. This is the screen that I was on before when I first started sharing my screen. And they'll just choose what group they're in. So most people that aren't becoming a new Master Gardener this year will choose a Washington Gardener certificate. And others who are doing their training this year will choose their county. And that's important because we want to be able to have the local county coordinators reach out to and county. So once that's done, then the learners will be assigned to their county, and their person will be able to get with them. But everybody will still have access to the same curriculum. So once they get, before we begin, and again, just like the name says, this is like before the course even starts, they can look at all this stuff. So they can try out using Zoom, they can get themselves familiar with download the textbook, read about how Moodle works, so they can become familiar with that. They can try out a practice activity. And this one is actually from the Extension Foundation. It's called Roots to Results. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger because the font is kind of small there. So they can try out a practice activity, just see what that's like, get used to work system, and then we have a little link to install Moodle. They don't have to do any of this. None of this is required. It's just something for people to do in between when they register and when the course starts that might help them when the course does start. So that was before we begin, and then we just start right in. So the first week, that connecting people and plants is the preface. People will have, they'll click on it and they'll see this activities here that they can do, and then they'll see a quiz. And then we'll have a live review session. And so those are going to be held twice each week. So it'll be the same thing, but held twice. So people choose to come to both of them or none of them if they wanted, but optimally people would come to one of those sessions where we would answer questions and talk about what needs to be talked about for that week. So this will be like
Is Bryce breaking apart or is it just me?
Yeah, no, we're losing him.
Okay, yeah, shoot. Bryce, are you there?
hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, we can, sometimes we can. So the live review sessions will have the link to the review, the Zoom link, and then the Q&A will be posted in there too, along with the recording. Bryce,
Yeah, Jennifer, maybe I can show things and you can talk if you can't hear me.
okay. So do you want to open up, yeah, Botany or one of them? Yeah. So Bryce, go ahead and try again, and then if you
Okay.
can, I can fill in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So a couple different pieces of software to make the curriculum more interactive. The idea is that people could just read the chapter if they wanted and answer the quiz questions. That's still totally fine. But we wanted to make some more activities and some interactive things for people to do. We got contributions from people to give an overview of each chapter. So these are different professors and stuff in our system, in the WSU system. We got people to contribute some videos. And so we've been putting those all together into this sort of a system. So this is what it'll look like now when people explore it. So they start out with the learning outcomes for the chapter, and then they get the opportunity to read the chapter right on the screen if they want, if they don't have it downloaded. My internet speed is slow, so this might come up slowly. They can download a copy that's fully accessible for a screen reader of this presentation. And then this presentation, this was contributed by Austin Little, who teaches in horticulture. And they can watch the video that's sort of an overview of the chapter. Can you still hear me, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great. And then we just dive into it. So basically, for each chapter, there are 4 learning outcomes, and there are 4 units that address each of those learning outcomes that directly tie into the quiz questions that come at the end of the chapter. So the idea is this is specifically supporting people and helping them be prepared for the quiz questions. Anyway, people will go through it, they click on different things. There's different interactive things they can explore to learn more about each of these topics. There's little matching exercises. Get that right. And then this system won't let them carry on unless they get that question right. Normally, I'm just in a preview. So the idea is people will go all the way through this and learn about each of the topics. And at the end, they can exit this and take the quiz. So we'll have, there's 25 required chapters. So there are 25 of these exercises, and then there are 3 optional chapters at the end that are ones that people can do if they want to. And here, let me go back to this, and I'll just show you the quiz really quick. The quizzes are actually very similar. There's still 8 questions each, multiple choice, multiple select, and you have to get 80% to pass them. And then at the end, there is a final exam. There's 100 questions, similar, they're, all new questions compared to the old quizzes, but very similar in the way that they're laid out and the way that they're offered, and people can retake the quizzes if they want to. Okay, what did I miss, Jennifer? And then what questions do people have?
Talk a little bit about the quiz functionality, like what's going to happen. They get, you know, do they get to see the answers? Do they not see the answers that they got wrong? I mean, there's feedback and.
Right, yeah, thanks. One of the things we really wanted to incorporate for people to improve people's learning and to make it less high stakes is for people to have multiple opportunities to take the quiz if they wanted to. So we now have it set so that people can retake the quiz. So people can go through once they're ready. And again, someone could just, I was helping in the training in Thurston County this spring, and we had a guy who had already been a master gardener in Oregon, and he was a professional like horticulturalist. He didn't need a lot of the instruction. Somebody like that could just jump straight to the quizzes if they wanted. They don't have to do all the other stuff. Anyway, so he could come in here. Anybody can come in here. Select your choices, go all the way through, and then at the end, when you click to finish the attempt, it's just going to take a second to load, but then each option for each question in the entire course so that people can see why they got it wrong. And from that, and go back and read some more before they take the quiz again and get their better score. So here's an example. I've clicked submit. It's given me my score. I only got 1 out of 8. I only did 3 of the questions, so give me a break, right, guys? And then it shows me what I got wrong. So there's a big box here that explains it. Like, okay, this is correct, but it's not the best answer. And then it goes on to say what the best answer is. This one just says not correct because it's true, false. This one I accidentally got correct. So all these would be filled in. People can read all of that feedback, and then they can go back and take the quiz again. What else?
Any questions for Bryce?
Diana Wyson has her hand up. Diana, you're muted.
Thanks, Deborah. I
Sorry.
don't see it on my
Can you download the quiz before you start even reading the material?
You could, well, no, but since you can take the quiz multiple times, you could take the quiz before you read the material. So any learner could go in and just click on the quiz and take it and then go back and read the material and then see if they do better the second time.
So I have a question. The old quizzes, they were problematic because they were so literal. And if people, if the trainees did not read the chapter literally and tried to more intuitively answer the questions, they oftentimes would get them wrong. A lot of the questions were tricky that way. It was very literal. I'm hoping that the new quiz questions are improved and that we won't have to school people to be so precise in how they interpret the wording on the quizzes. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, so the quizzes were all rewritten by a team before I came on board a couple years ago. And I have taken those and then, like I said, added the feedback that explains why an option, might not be the best option, might not be the best answer for that question. So I'm really hoping that helps. I've noticed that there are still a few where you would have had to have been looking at that paragraph on that page in order to answer that question. But in general, they're more conceptual and more broad.
Thank you. Sounds like a good improvement.
And we removed, as best we could, all of the tricky questions. Like we reworded them to delete the double negatives and the different things like that were in the quiz questions.
Thank you.
The quizzes are not timed. Let's see.
And just while you're
This
looking at that, Jennifer.
thing
Okay.
is, do you have flexibility to move one day on a laptop, next day on a tablet, Mac, PC?
Yes, we've done a little bit of testing, and some of the coordinators are testing it out on their phones too. Also, there's a Moodle app. It definitely displays differently on those different devices, but it still works on them. I don't know if I can show that right now. I guess I could try it. But yeah, it does still work. It's a good question. don't know if you can still see what I'm doing here, but I've made it all the way narrow like it might be on a phone. And you can see that it just lines things up.
Nice.
I mean,
You know, still with big
it's
font,
just a
big buttons.
URL, right?
Yes, although, you know, there are some, well, anyway, there is an app if you want to make sure that it works. If it's not working in your browser or something, then you can install the app and try it that way.
Is there a preferred browser to use to be more compatible? Or is it meant to be working on like Firefox and Safari and
That's a really good question. We haven't come across any problems, but of course the problems will happen when we have lots of people in here. I will look into that again and just make sure that, because if they do recommend something above other things, we want to make sure to put that right in the beginning. And I haven't checked on that yet. Good question.
Thank you.
I was just showing here, like I showed you this example before, full screen, and these tiles were kind of all spread out across the screen. So when you put it on a narrow screen, it just stacks them up so they come one after the other. Some things are just smaller.
Jennifer, Diana has a question.
Oh, go ahead, Diana. Thank you.
Can do they have to complete the quiz before they go on to the next chapter? 'Cause sometimes people, you know, get a little bit behind. And so can they proceed to the next chapter without completing the quiz of the previous chapter?
Yeah, the way that we have it set up right now, there are no conditional rules set up so that people could jump around anywhere that they wanted to.
That's what I need to thank you.
Yeah.
Bryce, where will the chapter assignments be located in Moodle?
Can you tell me more what you mean by chapter assignments?
The reading from
Oh,
the
okay.
from the handbook. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, good question. So, yeah, let me show that again. So, a couple things. One of the things is that now is not behind a paywall. So anyone can access the book at any time, whether they're in this course or not. So that's nice. And also we're building out a web version of the book. So right now it's a PDF, but we're also, well, Connors Communications is building out a web version of the book. So it'll be even more like just a website with all the different pages. And it looks really great. We've seen the first chapter or two of that. That being said, we've also built it into these little modules. So you kind of have to go, I wonder if I can back up here. Do I still have a minute or two,
Sure.
Jennifer?
Yeah, and
Yep.
can you go back to a bigger screen so we can see more?
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
There we go. That's easier for me too.
Yeah, I think the real question was the old modules had not just the chapter readings, but other assignments like videos to watch or other articles to read. And I think that's where the question was, where are there assignments like those in addition to the chapter reading, or is it only the chapter reading?
Okay. All right. So generally the chapters in a week are bundled into pairs, and that pair has a theme. So botany and plant identification. And so within that week, there are 2 different chapters. In order to access the learning materials for that chapter, you would click on the tile for it. And in here, all you're going to see is the quiz and something called activities. And that's because everything that was in Canvas, like all those different pages that were for each module, where it would be like, here's the additional readings, and here's the videos, and here's the exercise, you know, like they were all these different pages. They've now, that concept has all been pulled together into this thing called activities. So when people click on this, and this is what I was showing before, this has everything in it. So they'll go here, they'll click enter, and everything for that chapter is within this. And I'm just going to let it come back up again so I can show that. We'll maximize this. But if you go to, I showed you the learning outcomes. So read or watch, I've got at the beginning here. So the chapter, I mean, you know, like the literal question that was asked is, where's the chapter? So the chapter is here. The chapter contains additional reading links at the end. And so those, like a separate page that had additional readings, those are just part of the chapter now. We haven't listed extra ones.
But those are optional, right? The quiz is not based on the additional readings.
Correct.
Based literally just on the text of the chapter.
Good.
And then, you know, this is an overview of that same chapter. So it's not new information. It's just someone explaining it in their words, someone who is a, you know, a professional in the field. Whoops. We don't need you now, Austin. Okay. And then as far as like all those activities, like there were times there were crosswords. We didn't build any crosswords, but there are definitely matching exercises and then some new types of activities that the system allows to be built. But they're all within this, and it's all in this sort of scroll through way. So you scroll through one, and then you click at the bottom to go to the next part of it, and then you get to scroll through that one. Oops.
And then Bryce, so correct me if I'm wrong, as a teaching assistant, which is what the title of the role that coordinators and you know, a couple others will have in the Moodle, the teaching assistants will be able to watch the progress of a learner in the module. So they'll be able to tell how far a learner got, you know, in these activities. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's not a real detailed amount of information that you can see, but you can see like complete or incomplete. You can see if somebody completed one. And to complete one of these modules, you will have had to have scrolled all the way through it and answered the knowledge check question at the end of each section. And I'm just still scrolling through here while we talk, just so you can see examples of different things.
Bryce, how do you jump to the quiz?
Right. Okay. So they're you know, they're two separate systems. So if someone is reading through all the materials and doing all this, and then they're ready for the quiz, they would exit this activity and go back to the home page there, and then click on the quiz from there. So we're back to the home page, and they click on here, and then the quiz is here underneath the activity.
But I noticed it also showed up when you were in the activity. There were two buttons at the bottom of the page, one for the botany quiz and one for the plant nomenclature quiz. So it looked like you could go there that way also.
Yeah, this was true in Canvas as well. They have like a next and back button at the bottom of the page,
right,
for people to navigate between. It's like between elements in the course that they're ordered sequentially. So someone could, yeah. So yeah, you can see it right here. So yeah, you could also get to it this way.
Okay, that's handy.
Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
It's a really clean, concise presentation for the students. This is good.
I hope so.
Lots of hard work to get here, but it's worthwhile.
All right. So Bryce is going to do provide a training for all the teaching assistants prior to launch. So if you're a teaching assistant, the coordinators and teaching assistants will get some additional training so that you all know how to maneuver and manage in here as a teaching assistants. And you know, he's going to continue building it out, and we're excited to launch Green School. So Bryce, thanks for giving us this sneak peek this morning.
Is there a date scheduled for that training for teaching assistants?
There is not a date yet. That's one of the things on my list that I need to get scheduled.
Okay, yeah, happy to be here. Thank you all for your attention. Send me questions if you have them. And I'm just excited to get this launched.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you. Well done.
I have a question. There's an automatic reminder, or I don't know what it's called, but when you attend this state meeting, GivePulse sends you a question saying, did you attend? Or even if you didn't attend, if you were registered. Does the same system exist for Green School for existing Master Gardeners?
Hmm. No, it does not. But that doesn't mean it couldn't in the future, but it won't for this year. You would have to enter it in as continuing education.
Okay, thank you.
Potentially it could for the local county, I guess. If the local county wants to enter that into GivePulse, they could. Yeah.
Start.
I'm sorry, Robin. Did you have a question, Robin?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to my dog. It just thundered. Apologize.
Okay, no worries. All right. Okay, thank you, Bryce. Is there a teaching assistant for each county? So the teaching assistant is a role that it's a title role in Moodle. And county coordinators are teaching assistants. And then the county coordinators have the option of adding 2 others. Sometimes there are other staff, sometimes they're volunteers, or sometimes there aren't any extras. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it over to Tana for a program and foundation relations update. Tana.
Good morning. There's a lot going on. And I think for all of us, I've talked with several of you about the joys of watering your garden early in the morning. It seems that's a quiet centering time. I want to talk first of all about our nominating committee work. Peggy Madonia and crew are working hard to connect directly with every county to identify people. We have 2 positions that we're really targeting right now. Probably the most important are a chair or co-chairs for the AEC in 2026. We need leaders for that effort. What they're going to inherit is a group of volunteers that will likely stay to assist with details, a great model that they can follow with good tools to use, and a calendar of activities to help them move through the planning process. So if you've got folks in your county that are interested in getting some additional practice with respect to event planning and also get a better sense of what that statewide conference is about, please get in touch with Peggy. In addition, we're recruiting candidates for the vice president position. I'm happy to announce that we have a candidate for president, and I'm not in a place to announce that name, but we are looking for a vice presidential candidate as well. Again, job description is available in our policies and procedures documents online at the Master Gardener State Foundation website. I also want to thank our existing committee for their AEC work this year. We hit the slightly over 300 people registration mark on July 21st. That's the latest figures that I have. And I'm also especially delighted that there are 96 people who will be attending the shared learning experience sessions across the state. We're excited about introducing that model this year and excited for the chapters who are hosting both their members and members in adjacent counties. So watch for more information on that effort. Our awards committee met yesterday and selected awardees for this year. Those, of course, are kept confidential, but I really want to thank those of you who nominated for those awards. It was an incredibly difficult position to select final candidates. But it also is a great opportunity for us to celebrate all the good work that's going on in the system. It's really heart and soul meaning work when you can see what people have contributed. I'm also very excited to introduce our partnership in an effort called 1% for the Planet. As a partner, we're a registered nonprofit with their organization. They support nonprofits internationally and help nonprofits connect with potential donors that support specific projects or activities. We received notice just early this week that our application was accepted, and you'll be able to see more activity around that 1% for the Planet effort in support of specific program goals as Jennifer identifies for us. The last thing I'll talk about real quickly is I want to express my thanks, especially to Jennifer and to Clark, Whatcom, and Pierce counties for having stepped forward and helped to identify a new memorandum of agreement template. That template reflects the work of the committee. It was introduced to both the executive committee and to our board. In addition to that, it's made it through the review process, WSU contracts, and legal, as well as an attorney hired specifically by the State Foundation to represent our interests, have all given feedback. That feedback was carefully considered and included as appropriate. So for the first time, perhaps in our system's history, we're going to have continuity in a memorandum of agreement that outlines both the roles and responsibilities of us as shared partners. And it's a huge step forward. It is a change, but we'll be working individually with each county foundation to be able to help customize that template to their needs and be able to move to a place where those MOAs are fully adopted and signed. So that's my report. If you've got any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
Anything for Tana? Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in more detail about the updated memorandum of agreement template. And I want to thank Tana, Whatcom, Clark, and Pierce. Kathy Lamoureux is also a part of the committee that worked diligently to really define the roles and responsibilities and highlight areas where we could make clarifications in the MOA that would lead to better understanding of our roles and responsibilities and the way that we work, the ways that we work together. Tana mentioned that this is a change, and we have experienced lots and lots of change in our program since 2018. And you know, we've had some hiccups along the way with that were completely out of left field. You know, COVID-19 being one of them. We've got, you know, we've had some new policies that from WSU and from the state of Washington that we've had to implement. We've had new software, GivePulse, you know, that we had to implement. But I'm proud to say that we've stayed focused all along the way. And our unified voice is stronger than it has ever been. And I credit that to you as volunteers and your efforts, right? From the adoption of our program priorities to the evaluation efforts that we've worked hard to launch, giving us an ability to tell a compelling and impactful story, to updating our curriculum and expanding it to all. We are truly seeing our vision of being highly recognized, diverse, and fully supported, and the go-to resource for communities seeking innovative solutions to their horticulture and environmental stewardship needs come to fruition. So thank you for staying focused and being a part of that change. Change starts with a big idea, an opportunity to grow that many can visualize and can be a part of and can make happen. And you are making it happen. So thank you. Another step in making it happen involves care and feeding of our program and foundation relationships. And I think that care and feeding is long overdue. As you know, we had this committee and we worked to review and revise the MOA. And that revision is now an approved template on the WSU website, and it has been approved by the committee. It reflects the work of the committee. It's been reviewed and approved by WSU contracts and WSU's Attorney General. And then it also underwent Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State Legal Counsel review, Executive Committee review, and was also presented to the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State full board. Last week, I held the program coordinator meeting, and I shared this slide and the next one with the coordinators. Really wanting to highlight a few messages in that. So next steps, really foundation, we're asking foundation boards and program coordinators to engage in reviewing and ensuring that foundation governing documents are in alignment with the MOA. I suggested that maybe a coordinator and foundation president get together and create an ad hoc committee or something similar to really do the heavy lifting for the organizations together. Start by looking at possibilities that the update to the MOA can provide and will provide to our programs and foundations. How can these changes strengthen our programs and foundations and the relationship? There are resources coming out, and some have already been shared. So use the resources that have been shared and be on the lookout for the ones that are on their way. Two important resources that are on their way. One is a process document that kind of gives a step-by-step guide for updating your MOA and governing documents. It also includes some language that we'd like to see in the governing documents and why we would like to see that language. And it includes links to sample articles of incorporation and bylaws that have been reviewed by both the State Foundation and by WSU and have been deemed appropriate. And know that WSU Extension Master Gardener Program, right? And others on the leadership team and the Master Gardener Foundation of Washington State are truly a unified resource for you. We are ready to help. We want to help. We are committed to working through this process together collaboratively and successfully. And just remember that the purpose of this entire process is to strengthen the program and foundation collaborations, building mutually beneficial partnerships and bolstering that our unified voice, really becoming a cohesive statewide program. So moving forward, there are two intertwined processes that are in lockstep. One will be led by WSU and the other by the State Foundation. WSU's first priority will be to work with county foundation teams without current MOAs. At this time, there are 7 county program foundations that that do not have do not have an update, that have an MOA that's expired. My second priority will be to work with county foundation teams who are ready to move regardless of their MOA status. So there are some counties that just want to get on the new MOA. They're like the work that's been done and they want to make it happen in their county sooner rather than later. And then so I want to be able to work with them immediately. And then the third will be to engage with county foundation teams that have a current MOA, but also have practices that are in alignment with the new MOA. A little bit more context, so you kind of, I think, get a feel for where I'm coming from. I really expect this work to be time consuming for all of us. And we need each team to work on updating their own articles and their own bylaws. Do their due diligence the best that you can with the knowledge that you have to get those updated. And then schedule a meeting with Tana and me for additional support and review. Remember, there are 2 of us and about 25 of you. And the care and feeding that needs to be a part of this process is gonna take time, and we can't do all 25 at once. So we want to work with you, simultaneously with you, and with the priority of getting the counties without current MOAs up to date. And like I said, at this time, there are 7 of those. And remember that Tana and I are here to support in any way that we can. And be on the lookout for a step-by-step guide and an explainer document that describes the intent of each section of the Memorandum of Agreement template. And again, there will also be sample articles of incorporation and bylaws that you can use as guides. Any questions?
Yeah, Jennifer, where are our demonstration garden MOAs in the queue?
Really great question. So those right now, Dawn, are depending on the county, but most of them are kind of on the back burner until we get the program foundation MOAs up to date, because it's a little bit of a domino effect. Tana, do you have anything to add?
A couple of things. Jennifer mentioned change, and this certainly is a change process. We've entered into it to set a model for how we hope that the work will move forward. And that's participating in a collaborative partnership that reflects the values of respect and knowledge building, while at the same time being very open to learn about your local circumstances. It's important for us to be learners in the process as much as we hope you'll enter into the process as learners who see this as an opportunity. So I kind of smile at times thinking about previous work done with change theory. And this certainly is an example of change at a broad scope. But I'm confident we have the ability to make it a successful one.
Thank you.
Quick question. When we went through and we continue to do so, many of our questions look like they would be answered in what is being referred to as the explainer document.
Mhm.
When, hopefully now, is that document going to be available?
It's in final draft version right now. So I'm just having a few people review it and, you know, look for gaps. And then Tana and I will incorporate feedback and get it sent out. I couldn't finalize it until we had the MOA template in place. So we needed to really wait until we had that language so that we could finalize these documents. Soon, hopefully by the end of next week.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I have one more thing I want to, we talked about the conference. Tana did her report. Excuse me. And our next meeting is scheduled for September 25th. My daughter, we are about to be grandparents for the very first time, and my daughter is due on September 23rd. So I'm hoping to still have this meeting. I may or may not be on it, but I think it would be still important to have it with Green School just around the corner, and the work that we're doing on the MOAs. So if I'm not leading it, facilitating it, I'll find somebody to facilitate it for me. So keep it on your calendar, but I may not be here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Go enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate your time and efforts for the program.
Thank
Appreciate
you all. Great meeting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.